As I'm recording this video, there's over 14,300 confirmed cases of the coronavirus spread all over the world, and it has taken the lives of at least 305 people. Can it really be that the Bible predicted this? We will see in this video that it did. But before we talk about it, just a quick overview of this outbreak.
The new strain of coronavirus continues to spread from China.
Worldwide, more than 14,000 cases of coronavirus have been confirmed.
Now, a short time ago, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak an international public health emergency.
The coronavirus death toll rising.
Any foreign national who traveled to China in the last 14 days will be banned from setting foot on U.S. soil.
The Philippines reporting the first coronavirus death outside of China.
The ripple effects of the virus now infecting the economy, with markets plunging.
The purpose-built coronavirus hospitals in Wuhan will open its doors on Monday.
It started on December 8, 2019, when the first patient developed symptoms of the Wuhan coronavirus. And on January 8 this year, the first death linked to the virus was confirmed. Ever since then, it's been spreading across the globe. And on January 30, the World Health Organization declared a public health emergency of international concern. And yesterday, February 2nd, the first Wuhan coronavirus death has been reported outside of the mainland of China. A 44-year-old Chinese man from Wuhan traveled to the Philippines where he died. So, what does the Bible have to say about this? Now, one of the coolest things about the Bible is Bible prophecy. And this is actually one of the ways with which God says that He wants to win the trust of the people, so that we can know that we can trust God, that He exists, and that we can trust the Bible as His divinely inspired word. In Isaiah 46, verse 9 and 10, God says, "Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things that are not yet done." Now, God here is saying that since He already knows the end from the beginning, and no human being does, that He will tell us beforehand what will happen in the future. And when people see these things happen, or look back in history and see how God in the Bible predicted these events beforehand as well, we can be confident that we can trust God and the Bible. An example of one of these amazing prophecies is the one in Daniel chapter 2, where God predicted the rise and fall of kingdoms over the course of 2,500 plus years. Even events like Brexit have been foretold in this prophecy. You can click on the card on the top right corner to explore this prophecy more. When Jesus walked on the earth about 2,000 years ago, He gave some prophecies to His followers. They had asked Him when the world would come to an end and when Jesus would come back a second time. And that is where Jesus is predicting future events, giving us signs so that as we see these things happen, we know what is about to come. And we can read these prophetic statements from Jesus in Luke chapter 21, Mark 13, and Matthew 24. And the signs that Jesus gives us, He says there will be like birth pains. In other words, over time, the closer Earth comes to its final delivery, the signs will increase in frequency and intensity. Now, I remember the day when my wife woke me up saying that I was going to become a father. Now, she knew that because she felt the contractions. She knew the signs. And in the beginning, there was some time in between them, and they didn't hurt that much yet. But only a few hours later, when being in the hospital, these same contractions had become a lot more painful and closer to each other. Now, we knew from the beginning that the end result would be that a baby would be born. Just like that, we know that the end result of these Bible prophecies is that the world is going to come to an end when Jesus comes back. And as we see these signs increase, we know that we are getting closer to that moment. And notice one of these signs that Jesus gives us for the end of the world. In Matthew 24, verse 6 and 7. "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines and pestilences, which are fatal epidemic diseases like the coronavirus, and earthquakes in various places. So 2,000 years ago, Jesus made the prediction that in the time before he would come back, the world would not be free from disease and outbreaks. Despite the modern efforts being made by the medical world, new diseases and outbreaks still take place. And the Wuhan coronavirus is just one of these examples of how we see end-time prophecy like this being fulfilled in front of our very eyes. And as the whole world is sucked into this media-fueled fear for the coronavirus, Jesus says, don't fear. These things must happen. They are a sign of what is soon to come. Friends, Jesus is coming back soon. So I want to appeal to you. Don't just get caught in these worries and the concerns of this outbreak, but be more concerned about your spiritual health. Are you in right standing with God? Are you continuing to live in sin? Or are you living a life where Christ is giving you victory over sin? Are you joining God in preparing the world, your family, your friends, your neighbors, the ones behind the register at your favorite grocery store, preparing them for his soon return? And you know, the amazing thing is that in the midst of all these terrible events that Jesus predicted would come because mankind would grow so evil, that we should not be troubled. How is that possible when one outbreak like the coronavirus has just gripped the world as it has? How then will it be when there's even more and bigger outbreaks? How can we not worry or be fearful? Friends, the only way that we can make it through that time is when we place these things in perspective. Seeing these things happen is actually evidence that we can trust God because he already predicted it beforehand. So we are reminded as we see these things that we have an all-powerful God, all-knowing God. And the fact that he warned us beforehand proves that this God cares for us. He wants you to be able to trust him, because when you trust him, your perspective changes. You don't just see these few years that you have here on planet Earth. You see eternal life in front of you. And in perspective of spending eternity with God, we can endure hardships here on earth. It will only be a little while. And soon, very soon, that day is coming when Jesus will come back. And though the world will be falling apart around us, this will be the most joyful day in history for those who are looking forward to it. What a hope we have. And outbreaks like these are just simply reminders of that hope that can be ours. Don't be troubled by these things, by news reports wanting to instill fear into you. Don't worry. Jesus is coming soon, and he will make all things new. You get to spend eternity with him in a world without pain, without suffering, and without any form of sickness. Keep your eyes on this hope. Maranatha.